This retreat will not be possible without her support. We are Bodhisattvas of compassion in a way. Without you, the retreat will not be possible. Without the monastics, the retreat will not be possible. So while listening to the chant in Vietnamese, let us breathe together, come together, feel her presence in you. You are in her, in him, in they. They are in him, in her, in you. If you feel you cry, you are welcome to so. We will chant 5 times to offer our gratitude, to offer our peacefulness and collectiveness, as well as sending peaceful energy throughout the world, especially the people in Ukraine right now. So let's think about them. They are running for survival at the moment. So breathe together and send that energy toward them. We are here because they are there. They are there because we are here. Let us come together, breathe together as an organism. Listen to the 3 sounds of the bell together with a lot of gratitude and reverence.
May the day be well and the night be well. May the midday hour bring happiness too. In every minute and every second, may the day and night be well. By the blessing of the Triple Gem, may all things be protected and safe. May all beings born in each of the 4 ways live in a land of purity. May all in the 3 realms be born upon lotus thrones. May countless wandering souls realize the 3 virtuous positions of the Bodhisattva path. May all living beings with grace and ease fulfill the Bodhisattva stages. The countenance of the Word on earth one, like the full moon, or like the orb of the sun, shines with the light of clarity. A halo of wisdom spreads in every direction, enveloping all with love and compassion, joy and equanimity. Namo Shakyamunaye Buddhaya. Namo Shakyamunaye
Dear friends, if we could all rise to greet our Dharma teacher. Dear respected Thai, dear respected Sister Chan Kung, ancestors, teachers, relatives, and friends. How lovely to see these beautiful faces, especially the expressions above the mask. I was lucky this morning. I drew the long end of the stick so that I would have the honor and pleasure to introduce to you my big brother, Brother Phap Khoi. Our beloved brother was ordained in 2002, I'm told at the age of 34, but it still looks 34. He received the lamp transmission of a Dharma teacher in 2009. And officially, he was the abbot of Blue Cliff Monastery for 5 years. Unofficially, under his guidance and stewardship for 13 years. So I'm going to lead the way in offering flowers to his undying service to Thai and the Sangha. And he will start, hopefully, by telling us what his name, Phap Khoi.
So, good morning, dear teacher, dear community. Let us enjoy listening to 3 sounds of the bell. We come back to our in-breath and out-breath, establishing ourselves in the present moment. Thank you. So, dear community, thank you for your presence here. Today is the 10th of April, year 2022, and we are in the Rising Tide Meditation Hall at Magnolia Grove Monastery. This is the last day of our BIPOC retreat. What a wonderful retreat we had together. For a full day, 4 beautiful, meaningful days that we spent together. We practiced sitting meditation together, walking meditation together, eating meditation. We practiced deep relaxation, all the basic practices that we learned and practiced in this retreat
We also practice deep listening, listening to our friends sharing, and also we practice loving speech, non-violent speech in our Dharma sharing groups. We practice coming back to ourselves, listening to ourselves. We practice resting when we need it. So many wonderful practices that we enjoyed this retreat. And I hope that when you leave here, you're able to take some, if not all, of these practices home in your own environment. So you can continue to nourish yourselves and those around you. Sister Peace asked me to translate my name. I often, when people ask that, I often said it's quite complicated. I just go by PK. But if I must, I would. It is translated as Khoi has many meanings depending on what another word goes with it. So it could be beginning, or fresh, or the first crop, or interesting, or strange, comical even, depending on the term that goes with it. But the terms that goes with my name, Phap. Phap means the Dharma. And there are many brothers in our tradition had that first word is Phap, is a Dharma. So I would say instead of Dharma comical or Dharma comics, maybe Dharma beginning or fresh or something of that sort. We have another brother here named Khoi, a guide of freshness, I believe he said. So we share the two names. And sometimes I would tell friends, it's like the koi fish. And so it's easier to remember that way. But enough about me. This retreat's theme is deepening our roots. And for me, I feel like we had that opportunity and we did dig deep and deepen our own roots and also learn about one another's roots and grow new roots for ourselves. If you visualize like a tree with its trunk, its branches, flowers, fruits, but if we visualize a little bit deeper, we will also see the roots that's underneath that might not be apparent. And the stronger the tree, the deeper and the vaster the root system. We all have roots, and our ancestors are our roots. And so when we come back and to deepen, to learn ways to deepen our roots, we learn to get in touch with our ancestors. So if we see ourselves as a trunk of the tree, then our ancestors are our roots, and our descendants are the branches. But looking more deeply, we are the totality of the tree. We are also the roots, we are also the branches, because our ancestors are in us and also our descendants. We might not have biological children, but we have other types of children, spiritual children. If you're ever a teacher, if you're ever like a friend, if you're ever a person present when needed, then you are the ancestors of those friends. Those friends, those children are your children too. And so when we look deeply, we're both the past and the future. We're our ancestors and we're our descendants. We are the link to our ancestor going forward, going into the future. But we're also the link to our descendants going backwards into the past. And so we're all interconnected. Growing up, I am a biracial person, or even multiracial. But I remember before I get in touch with the practice, I often felt torn inside because I wasn't sure which group I belonged to. When I see around me one group is rejecting the other group and vice versa. And so I felt that inside, that reflected inside. So there is a rejection within. And it wasn't until I encountered Thầy, our teacher, and the Sangha, who saved me, who showed me that it's okay to be me. It's okay to have different bloods running in through my veins, and that I don't have to be so-called pure to feel I am a whole person. I remember Thầy, our teacher, shared that it was actually very advantageous to have many roots, to know many cultures, to be bi or multicultural or multiracial, if you know how to learn to take the best of each part and to embody that. And we all have multi-roots. The teaching of interbeing tells us that there's no one 100% pure. We're all related. We all mixed somehow. And there are many types of roots. This I learned from our teacher also. Of course, we have our biological roots. We call blood ancestors. We also have land ancestors. That's also our roots. We have roots in our spiritual traditions, one or many. And we also have cultural roots. I remember, and I shared this a couple of times, I remember Thầy said one time, even though I'm Vietnamese, but I'm also French because I was able to enjoy French cuisine. And I lived in France for many years. So to him, he has a French root. And so whatever culture we are born in, whatever cultures we encounter, learn from, we can adopt them into our own root system, so that we can grow stronger, so that we can grow more solid. And so visualize a tree standing by itself with a very vast root system. It can withstand the storm, right? And so the practice for us is really about, for this retreat especially, is to identify, to come back, to recognize, to accept our roots, and to grow more, to grow new roots. Imagine if there's a storm that comes by and the tree with its roots deep in the earth, perhaps the branches can sway in the sun and some might be broken, but the tree might not be toppled over because of its root system. I remember seeing especially at Blue Cliff, after the winter season, some trees in the forest topple over. And those are actually that are standing with no other trees around, they're very easily fallen over. And when we come close and examine the roots, we see that the roots are very shallow. There's not much. And that could be because the soil may be too rich, so that the root doesn't need to seek so much. And so when the storm comes, it's not able to withstand. And just having that experience, we can learn to reflect back too. Are we always surrounded ourselves with favorable conditions, with so much comfort that we don't learn to train ourselves for difficult moments? So if there are a lot of challenges in your life, if there's a lot of difficulties, please view those as opportunities for you to lengthen your roots, to deepen your roots into the earth, so that when storms come, you are solid and you're able to face it. But if you grew up in an environment where everything is catered to you, you might not have a chance to withstand difficulties. And so let's not hope for our condition to always be perfect. We take what's given to us and go from there and train ourselves. I also saw that there were some trees that are sort of fallen over, but thanks to the other trees around them, kept them up and not fallen all the way down. And somehow their roots are still in touch with the earth, and they continue to grow even though they're not standing anymore. They're like leaning over another tree. And that gives me the image of a community. If you practice by yourself, that is okay. And you may be able to withstand the storm. But the chance of falling over is greater than if you practice with the whole Sangha, with a community, with support. So if you happen to sway, there are friends around you to help support you. And even if sometimes you find yourself falling over, your community is there to support you and help sustain you. So there's a much less of a chance to actually be uprooted and wither away. So let us enjoy one sound of the bell. So dear community, my topic today is actually about love in action. So I'd like to address a little bit of that. But first let us consider the word love and the word action. Some of us might have heard of the term the four immeasurable minds of love. And in the 5 mindfulness trainings, it is mentioned there, the 4 kinds of love. In the Buddhist teaching, that represent true love, and I'll write it on the board. So the first is called loving kindness, and the second is compassion. And the third one is joy. And then the fourth is equanimity, but Thầy, our teacher, often describes it as inclusiveness. So loving kindness is about offering joy. This is the Buddhist description of the term, offering joy to someone. Compassion is relieving suffering for someone or alleviating suffering for someone. And joy is the ability to be able to cultivate joy in oneself and also to experience joy when another person feels joyful. Instead of being envious, we share in the joy of the other person. So that's this type of joy. And then equanimity is being cool with everything. And Thầy has the insight of translating it as inclusiveness, is that I'm okay with everything and everyone, and so therefore I include everyone and not excluding anyone from my circle. It also has the connotation of non-attachment and of just letting go, settling. And so love in the Buddhist teaching, to be true, should embody these four elements. And this love can be the love between two people, many people, the love between parents and child, the love between friends. And so it's many different types of relationships. And to really love someone, let us consider, are these elements present? And then action in the Buddhist teaching, they're called karma, and there are three types. You probably hear these three terms in the Buddhist writing: body, speech, and mind. They're called actions or karmas because they continue you, and they carry the cause and effect. So body here is about bodily action, physical action, and then speech is your words. Your words carry, if it's kind words, then it enlivens someone, it makes someone happy. But if it's unkind words, it makes someone sad or angry or hurt. And then mind is actually your thoughts, your thinking. And so for me, I've just defined love in action is simply the action of your body, your speech, and your mind. If they has the elements of the four immeasurable minds of love, then that is an action of love. Or love actualized. When we practice mindful breathing, when we practice mindful walking, when we learn to take care of ourselves, when we bring our mind back to our body, we bring our whole self back to the present moment. We're whole. We're able to recognize what is happening inside and all around us. We learn to create action, loving actions, first of all for ourselves, and then later on to our loved ones and to others and to the environment. When we come back to the present moment and getting connected or reconnected with ourselves, we will begin to see that we are one, that we are interconnected to others also. And we learn to listen to ourselves, be kind, be compassionate, learn how to cultivate joy, learn how to let go. When we're able to do this for ourselves, we will know how to radiate that and to do that for other people. So what would an action of love looks like, you might ask? And I might say, you've already done that this retreat. If you think back, during the session of deep relaxation, you learn how to take care of your body. You learn to be kind and compassionate towards your body, right? That's an action that you took to take care of yourselves. When we're able to laugh together, to make jokes, to enjoy one another's presence, we're cultivating joy to nourish ourselves and the people that we're with. So that's an action perhaps of speech and of body too. When we help one another to carry out our chores, our duty to have the monks and the nuns here, and we do that with joy, so all three actions are positive. Your mind is at peace and joyful. You share loving words to one another, and your action is beneficial to yourself and to others. So you're practicing your loving actions in all three types: body, speech, and mind, with the elements of true love. When we have an emotion, a strong emotion that comes up in ourselves, and we don't know what to do, let us remember the image of the tree. Thầy often taught us in many retreats, it often reminds us, when there's an emotion that comes up, a strong emotion, don't react. Come back, find a place to sit, and bring your attention to your trunk. Don't stay up here. This is where the wind blows. It will wreck you. So bring your attention down here, at the trunk, because it's closer to the roots. And you breathe. And weather the storm, let the storm pass. And you know that if you're dwelling solidly here, and knowing that your roots are extensive, you will weather the storm. Your branches may be broken, but that's okay. If the root is still strong, new branches will grow back. So let us, why don't we practice that together? breathing at the trunk. So sister will invite the sound of the bell, and let us bring our attention to our abdomen. And if we wish, we can put our hand or both hands on our abdomen and feel the abdomen rising as the breath comes in and falling as the breath goes out. We'll do that for the duration of the sound of the bell together. And we can choose to close our eyes or keep them open and really just pay attention to the rhythm of the breath and the abdomen. It's a wonderful practice to be able to do so. If you have a place to lie down, that's even better. And just really relax and be in your body. But if not, you can find a place to sit and to really practice belly breathing. And should there be no place to sit, then walking meditation can help. So when you know already that when we do walking meditation, we bring our attention to our feet, and we don't stay up here. So that helps ground us. And should a strong emotion come from another person, if you're in, say, an abusive relationship emotionally, what to do? I think the practice invites us to, before we react, we can reflect on that person or person's background, ancestry, whatever that the conditions that brought that person up to this point to become this type of person, to have these characteristics. When we're able to have that reflection, we learn to see the person clearer and see that the cause of the conditions that brought about that present situation. Then we will know how to respond. And if we find that we're not able to do so on our own, remember the forest. You're not alone. Seek help, friends, loved ones to help you to resolve that situation. And remember applying the three actions and the four immeasurable minds. And if all else fails, be courageous, practice letting go. If we try our best and things are not resolved, let go. We have to leave a toxic relationship, so that we can take care of ourselves. There is, I think BK in his talk shared about the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, who listen to the sounds and to come to rescue beings. And I'd like to mention a little bit more about this Bodhisattva. There are many Bodhisattvas in the Buddhist tradition. This morning we practiced touching the earth to some of them. Bodhisattvas are great beings, those who aspire to help the world in many different aspects. We have a Bodhisattva who embodies understanding, Manjushri. The Bodhisattva who embodies action, Samantabhadra. The Bodhisattva who embodies aspiration, Shitigabha. And the Bodhisattva who embodies compassion, Avalokiteshvara. And Avalokiteshvara is quite special. Not that the other ones aren't. But Avalokiteshvara's vow is to appear anywhere there's a cry for help, appears in any form that is appropriate. And so if you read the Buddhist sutras and writings, sometimes Avalokiteshvara is described as a man and sometimes described as a woman, depending on the need of the people that call for help. If someone calls for a mother to help, Avalokiteshvara appear as a mother or form of a mom to help. If someone calls a figure of a father to appear to help, Avalokiteshvara appear as a father, or a child, or a woodcutter, or a teacher. So basically any forms and any colors, this Bodhisattva appears. So I thought, what a wonderful Bodhisattva to be. And I would propose that for our BIPOC community, why not adopt this person as our patron saint? But let us recognize that these are embodiments, not actual person. The actual persons are you. And so when you're able to embody this compassion, you are Avalokiteshvara. And we all can be the Bodhisattva, Avalokiteshvara. You are a teacher, you are a healthcare professional, you are a plumber, you are a parent, you are a sibling. When you find yourself in a situation where you can help another person, come to another person's aid, be with another person to lessen his or her suffering or loneliness, in that moment you manifest Avalokiteshvara's energy. You are Avalokiteshvara. And we need more Avalokiteshvaras in our world to help lessen the suffering. If you're in Asia or in some traditional temple, you might see a statue or an image of Avalokiteshvara, and there are many different images that throughout Buddhist history that show what Avalokiteshvara looks like. And some images are very fierce. We call it tough love. And some images are very kind looking. Some images are in the form of a male figure. Some images are in the form of a female figure. And some images are in the form of an androgynous figure. And there's some images will show Avalokiteshvara having 1,000 arms. And each hand has an eye inside and hold an instrument. These all represent something. The eye is for wisdom and insight. So when we practice compassion, we need first to understand, we need first to have wisdom about a situation. When we have understanding, love naturally manifests. And when love is present, action naturally manifests, very naturally. And so The hand represents action, and then the eyes for wisdom, and an instrument is for a means. We need means in order to help. And so if you see that image, you might see it's holding, one hand is holding a bell, one hand is holding a bowl. And Thay said, in our era, perhaps the Avalokiteshvara of our times holding like a computer or a cell phone or something of that sort that could help. And so look into your life, what instrument are you able to utilize to help another person? And you can find out you can be quite resourceful. But remember, the I, develop understanding is very important. When you have understanding, it's very easy to apply these principles. And these are guiding principles. These are not things that you must abide by. The Buddha does not tell us what or what not to say. He does not tell us what or what not to do, what or what not to think. He just gives us a principle so that when we actually think, when we actually speak, when we actually act, go in the direction of loving kindness, of joy, of compassion, of inclusiveness. Both three forms of action: body, speech, and mind. I will end my sharing here with a reminder to all of us that please bring the practice home in your environment and see what is applicable. Not all of them might be applicable in your environment. And so be skillful, be creative, so that you can continue to nourish yourselves and thrive. And the second part is to find a Sangha, if you don't have one already, to look online, to find a Sangha online, if in your location there isn't one. Or if the conditions are there, create one, create a new one, so that you can continue to nourish your practice, and also to offer your support to a friend or to your own the people in your community, in your Sangha. The 5 mindfulness trainings that we received this morning, they are a concrete expression of the teaching of the Buddha, and they have these elements in them, and they're also principle. They're not rules that we must abide by or else. They're just principles. They help guide us. And so please continue to nourish yourself with the practice, and know that Magnolia Grove is here. You can always come back to replenish yourself. Yeah, thank you for your presence and your deep listening. We will end with 3 sounds of the bell.
Hello. Thank you. So, dear friends, this is the time of in between the setup for our Dharma teacher Valerie to be here online.